Show me what you got.
How do you know these things?
You mean I'm right?
Hello, welcome to Steelers Sanctuary. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. I'm Bob Quinn, and I'm coming at you with another mock draft. So, PFF has been nice enough to update with the DK Metcalf picks, so we're all set to go. We didn't have to manipulate and do any trades. So I know maybe some people don't like the PFF model. I get it. I like that I get grades. I've played around with a couple of these. I love doing 90 trades, but let's just take a look because I think this one is more accurate about what we are going to do. So let's go ahead and start the mock draft. Jump down to pick 21 and let's take a look and see. Some interesting guys here. Excuse me, Luther Burden on the board. He's been falling a little bit. Darius Alexander, defensive lineman from Toledo, has been rising a little bit. Walter Nolan, Omarion Hampton are here. But that being said, let's take a look at a trade. Let's see what we're getting offered. So Green Bay wants to move up with us here. Let's see who else we have. The Baltimore Ravens want to move up. We ain't trading with them. Indianapolis Colts want to throw a second round pick our way to move up to this pick. And Seattle wants the number 50. So haven't done a trade with Green Bay just yet. We're only moving back one spot. Let's see if maybe we could recoup the George Pickens or recoup a pick for the trade for DK Metcalf without necessarily trading George Pickens. Let's just see if we gave them 21. It's saying that wouldn't be accepted if we offered 23 and 54. Let's see what happens, though, if we throw in maybe pick 123. And they're saying, nope, doesn't look like that's going to happen. So let's just, for giggles, take a look here at what the Colts could potentially offer and see if we traded 45, 80, and 117. We're going to go a 3-for-1 here to maybe move back. And based on this, I mean, I do love Omarion Hampton. There's some guys I like here, but let's see if we can pull off some con artist magic here and trade back with the Colts and see what happens if we go a 3-for-1. They have accepted. So we've traded back. Let's resume the draft. See what happens when we jump down here. Now we're at pick 45. All right. So those of you who have followed this know how much I love Siobhan Rivell. But that being said, I've kind of backed off of him because he didn't run at the combine, which was a 50-50 chance he was going to do that. We haven't seen his pro day just yet. I love him, but sitting here at number 47 for the second week in a row, I'm sorry, but I would take Shedeur at 21. I got to take him at 47 here. We got to do it. We need a quarterback. Even if Uncle Aaron comes to town, we got Mason. You tell me right now, we got Uncle Aaron, Mason, and Shedeur developing. He can sit for a year. I'm a happy guy. So now we've picked up a couple of picks in the third round. So let's take a look at what we get here. RJ Harvey is an intriguing prospect. DJ Giddens, who Dave loves, is an intriguing prospect. A couple of wide receivers here. Tate Rutledge, the guard. But based on what I'm seeing here, I like RJ Harvey. I think I'm with Dave on this. I like DJ Giddens just a little bit better. And here in the second round, let's take a quick look, though. Make sure we're not passing on a wide receiver who we can't maybe get. There's some interesting ones here who are falling. Isaiah Bond, because he didn't run that 4.3-ish 40 that he was attempting, or the 4.2-ish, has really fallen off of the board. So that being said, based on this, I'm going to go with my man DJ Giddens here and solve our running back issue, which we need to pick a running back. So it is what it is. 3 picks later, Still got our pick of these guys here. Let's take a look. Our next pick is 117, so we're kind of starting to take a risk. There's a couple trades here available. Let's see what the trades look like. So Denver at 85 is interesting. Carolina at 111 is interesting. Let's just see if we did take a look at Carolina's picks. They got the 111 and 114. Geez, that would be 3 picks right in a row. That might be worth the risk. Let's see what happens if we throw the 83 for 111, 114, and 140. It's accepted. So that's 2 drafts now. We're shaking this up. Omar, I hope you're taking notes, buddy. Just kidding. I mean, Omar doesn't need to learn anything from me. All right, so now we're down at pick 111. We got a bunch of picks now here in this round. Gunnar Helm showed up in Todd McShay's top 100. That's an interesting choice. Let's take a look at what we got here for the wide receiver choice. Okay, so Torrey Horton's at 132, and we have 111, 114, and 117. So I'm going to gamble, and let's hope I don't get burned. I'm going to gamble that he's still going to be there. So I like the edge. I like Jonas Sanker. Actually, he's been rising as far as the safety goes. Tight end, defensive line here. I know we need some help there. I'm going to go with my man, JJ Pegas. The Steelers have had him in for a visit. He's not Walter Nolan, but he's got some upside. And at this point, if you're not getting Kenneth Grant in the first round, or maybe some of these other guys, let's see who's still on the board. It may even be, and I think the Steelers are actually adapting this strategy. They're just stacking bodies with the free agents signing. They bring back Loudermilk, Logan Lee. I know they were high on. So I think they're just stacking bodies. So based on that and seeing who's available, and Tonka is rising up. I've been telling you guys about this guy. He's up 60 spots. But I'm going to go Pegas because I think he's the biggest need we have outside of wide receiver. So now let's take a look here. Gunnar Helm is still there. Really like that. I start to slide down the board a little bit here. Damian Martinez is still there, although we got DJ Giddens, so I don't think we really need that. I'm certainly not trading with the Bengals. I'm going to go ahead, and it's a little bit of a reach as far as PFF is concerned, but he's the top wide receiver on the board. I love this kid, and assuming we do keep George Pickens, I really like this guy as our third receiver. So, Torrey Horton, come on down. Picked you many times. I'm going to keep picking you. I like you a lot. My man, Jaden Higgins, who I was picking a lot, everybody caught on. They all copied us. We were on Jaden Higgins first. That being said, he's probably a first-round pick at this point. All right, so now we're at 117. My man Gunnar is being stubborn. He doesn't want to jump off the board here. So based on the fact that he's a Todd McShay top 100 player, I like Pat. I love Darnell Washington, and I kind of like Donald Parham, but I don't think either of those guys are necessarily potentially an impact player. I think Gunnar immediately slots in as our second best receiving option at tight end. And then if Darnell was the third tight end and Parham ends up on the practice squad, I'd be okay with that. Helm has the upside to maybe take over as the number one tight end option from Muth. So it's a low-key need. We need corner too. Let's just double check before we pull the trigger. No, I'm good with Gunnar Helm here. I think the value's there. So let's take him at 117. Jumping down to 123. Now let's take a look at what we got here at cornerback. Being that we signed Thornhill, I don't think we're going safety. As much as I love Nick Immanwori, you'd have to get him in the first round. I just don't see us going safety, but I do see corner as a need. Denzel Burke's an interesting name, and he's been sliding down the board a little early for him here. Zy Alexander is kind of an interesting case. He was projected on day 2, but the combine kind of hurt him. He's I'd be interested if they might take him in the middle rounds just to see if he can compete with Beanie Bishop, and if his physicality could maybe turn him into a starting corner eventually in the league. I don't know that he translates to the outside. He might translate to the inside. The real question will become, can he handle covering the quick rather than running long? We know with his speed, he's probably not going to be an outside corner, but maybe as a nickel and definitely to compete with Beanie Bishop here. And from a value standpoint, I'm going to go ahead and take him. Now let's jump down to pick 140, another pick we picked up. Interesting that Quinn Ewers is here. So we know TJ's 31. Alex is in the middle of a second contract. He's a good player. Hall of Fame Herbig, which if you visit the merch store, you can get that t-shirt. Don't be shy. Buy one today. But we need a fourth edge. And I like this guy, Oladejo, and Mike Tomlin liked him too. And he's climbed. So based on where he is and where we're picking, got to go with my man Oladejo here. And there's no pressure for him to come in and be an impact player right away. It could kind of be like Herbig, where he can kind of work his way into it. If we got to the point in a 4-man rotation, kind of like Philly rotates on the defensive line, if our outside linebackers were a true 4-man rotation, prolongs TJ's career. Alex has been a little brittle the last couple of years. All of a sudden now there's no pressure on one guy, and I think we might actually end up getting more pressure from the outside if we do that. Jumping down to 156. I do like this Georgia tight end, but we already got a tight end, Ben Urasek. Simon Barrow, if we were going to double up on a defensive lineman instead of Tonka, that would be an interesting name. Etienne, kind of wished I hadn't picked the running back, even though at this point that's a pretty high value. I do like Kyle McCord. If Shedeur hadn't just automatically fallen to us, this is the guy I'd probably be looking at here. And then let's just take a look and see what else we got. Oh, Fedone. I do like Fedone a lot too. Let's take a look at what we've picked so far. We've got a quarterback, a halfback, defensive line, wide receiver, tight end, cornerback, and edge. Let's just take a look back at what's left in the wide receivers because picking. All right. This a little early for this guy, but if you watched our draft show on Sunday, you know this is the guy who was in my top 10. And yeah, I could gamble he's going to be there in 6, but I'm not going to. 6'5", second fastest receiver at the combine. Give me that skill set with time to learn, and I'm all about it. So we got 2 picks left. I'm going to double up now on my man, Tonka Hemingway, who I usually pick in the 7th round, but the word is out. And again, we're accumulating bodies. This guy's a quality guy. I think he's got upside. May not help us this year, but long-term, I like this kid. I like this kid a lot. So let's go ahead and pick him. And with our final pick in the draft, so here's an interesting guy. There's a couple interesting guys here, but Jimmy Horn Jr., he didn't run the fastest 40. He would project as a slot receiver, but with the Amazon metric of who actually ran fastest miles per hour, he was the fastest receiver at the combine. So I'm kind of tempted by him. I also like Jaquindon Jackson, but being that we have Kenneth Gainwell and we picked DJ Giddens and we got Jaylen Warren, I'm going to go ahead double up on wide receiver here. I'm going to take Jimmy Horn Jr. and pair him with his college quarterback, Shedeur. Again, I don't think Jimmy would necessarily help us this year, but he's a guy who could get on the field. He could certainly push Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin as far as I'm concerned. Kind of all three the same guy. But if you got Metcalf, you got Pickens, and you got Horton as your top 3, those guys were all competing for your 4th spot. And if George walks at the end of the year, Torrey Horton can move to the outside. And now all of a sudden you've got potentially your third wide receiver in a three-way competition with Austin, with Jimmy Horn and Roman Wilson. So I'd be okay with that as a backup plan. Also, a little forethought as far as trying to build and stack the positions. That's what I got. Let's see how we did. So I drafted JJ Pegas, and they thought I should have taken the safety. Apparently, they haven't heard that Thornhill signed with the Steelers. We already got 3 pretty good safeties. I disagree with that. So, based on trading back, the fact that we got Shedeur Sanders at 45 is an A. I'm not surprised by that. Look, if he falls to the second round, the Steelers got to do what they got to do. I'm on record as saying if he gets to 21, I don't think we can pass on him. DJ Giddens, B+. And if you haven't watched tape on him, go watch it because he broke into McShay's top 100. Guy is speedy. He's a nice player. He's not quite the big back of like an Omarion Hampton or a Damian Martinez, but because of his speed, I think he'd be a nice complement to what the Steelers currently have. They don't love JJ Pegas. Here is C-. I'm kind of not surprised. I reached just a teeny bit for him. I am a little bit surprised it's a C- out of C. Troy Horton, D+, totally disagree. I think this kid, you get him in the 4th round, you've made a good choice. Zy Alexander, a C. Little bit surprised of the 3 that he has the highest grade based on how he did at the combine, but hey, we take what we take. B- for Oladejo. We got an F for Dante Thornton. Apparently, PFF hasn't watched the 6'5" guy run 4 threes. Yeah, I know there's some work to do there, but we don't need him to come in and be great this year. That is a guy who, just on skill set alone, is a guy you should take a flyer on. My man Taka Hemingway, I get a B-. I love that. Jimmy Horn got a B-. Again, if he's our last player picked, we double up on wide receiver based on these trades back. I'm kind of happy with this. So overall, got a B+. I'll post this up on social media. I'll post the video, and we'll see how we do next week. That's all I got. Remember, Thursday, 6:30, or I'm sorry, 7 o'clock, we'll be back with another Steelers Sanctuary podcast. I'll get some draft profiles out tomorrow. Also, if you haven't done it yet, go to my X, pop it up. We're having a Steelers Sanctuary bracket league. It's totally free to enter. You might win $100,000 from Uber Eats, but you could also win, whoever wins our league, whoever is top in our bracket, totally free to enter. You will get one of the $24 Steelers Sanctuary cups, the nice double wall tumbler with a straw and top on it. It's a really nice value. Totally, like I said, totally free to enter. Join us. Please go support the merch store, like, subscribe, share. And I will see you tomorrow with some draft profiles and talk to you on Thursday. Oh, don't forget on Sunday, Dave and I are doing a live mock draft at 5 o'clock. Have a great day.
Ain't nothing over till it's over.
What's that from, the 80s?
It's probably in the 70s.
This is disappointing as hell.
Now what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Yo, come back now, you hear?
Probably worth the Google.
Saw that coming.